Hello and welcome to the norming video for 4th grade math for CA2. I'm going to walk you through a couple of the examples and what you should be looking for as you grade your common assessments. For question number 1, it's asking scholars to take a look and use a table in order to find out how much larger an area one lake is from another. So they would be using a lot of computation and also need to be able to set up the problem correctly. Constructive response question number 1 is worth 2 points. You'll see that on the rubric to the left-hand side. 1 point should be awarded for the correct answer of 62,885 square miles, and then 1 additional point awarded for the correct setup. So what you should be seeing is the correct setup, something like this. There's a lot of regrouping, so it's very important that you can actually see that they set up the problem correctly in order to regroup correctly. They get 1 point for the setup, and then 1 additional point if they get the full correct answer. Problem number 2 is also worth 2 points. What this is asking scholars to do is to take a look at 2 fractional pieces of brownies in a pan and to figure out how much total is left over. What it's asking them to do is just see, like, if you added one pan to the other, how much would be there. It's a little bit of a real life situation. I drew the picture here to just show how they can move one here, one there, and then to ask what fraction of 1 pan of brownies would there be. There would be 5/9 of a pan of brownies. Scholars will receive 1 point for the correct numerator of 5, and then 1 point for the correct denominator, which should be 9, for up to a total of 2 points. Okay. Question number 3 is asking scholars to do a lot of multiplication to figure out how much a chef should be making. It is worth a total of up to 4 points. So part A asks scholars, how many ounces of salad does a chef need for this luncheon? You see in the question there's 64 passengers and they each get 12 ounces of salad. I did highlight here, it says show or explain how you got your answer. So they can either show you by writing it out or by writing out a sentence to explain it. So you should be multiplying 64 times 12. If they set it up correctly, they should be awarded 1 point. I show how they could set it up also down here. So as we know, double-digit multiplication is pretty difficult, and sometimes there's some errors in there. So we really want to make sure that either it's set up this way. If you see scholars set it up using partial products, that would also be an acceptable way to set up this problem. If they figure out all the answers all the way through, they should get the answer of 768 ounces, and they will receive 1 point for that correct answer. Part B is kind of a 2-part question. They should be taking a look at this and explaining if 8 pounds of cucumbers are used, how many tomatoes and how many pounds of lettuce would also be used. Because he said for every pound of cucumbers, a certain amount of tomatoes and a certain amount of lettuce is used. So they should receive up to 2 points for this part. So they get both a point for setting it up and answering it correctly, because this is a pretty easy multiplication sentence. So for the first part, for tomatoes, for every pound of cucumbers, he uses 2 pounds of tomatoes. So if 8 pounds are used, we would multiply 8 pounds times 2 pounds of tomatoes to get 16 pounds of tomatoes. That answer would be awarded 1 point. And then for the pounds of lettuce, for 8 pounds of cucumbers, we'd multiply 8 pounds of cucumbers times 3 pounds of lettuce to see he would need 24 pounds of lettuce to make a salad this big. Again, 1 point for both the correct setup and the correct answer. If they set it up correctly but don't have an answer, they don't get any points. And if they write the answer with no setup, they don't get any of the points. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me at momiller@uplifteducation.org or to reach out directly to your CTL.